Good afternoon and welcome to Tea Time. I am so excited to be here with all of you. We're here, and hello to you, Patrick, over there, and
Hello, hello.
happy Tuesday evening to you. All right, Tea Time community. Remember to invite somebody to like us on YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that they can stay connected to all of our Tea Times. Happy Tuesday to all of you. Welcome to our Tea Time community. And to those who are new, we want to welcome you as well. If this is your first time joining us for Tea Time. Just say hello. Let us know where you are where you are viewing us from. And also make sure to have your drink of choice, whether that be tea, water, or something refreshing. And make sure that you have your Tea Time journal. All right. So, how are you doing over there, Patrick?
I'm doing well, enjoying my tea and unwinding. So this is good.
Oh,
Everything is good. Had a pretty
okay.
good day. hmm
All right. Very good. And what type of tea are you having today?
Actually, I have some black tea today with a hint of honey today. So some black tea
Okay.
and honey.
Very good. Very good. Okay. What are you guys having out there? Chime in and let us know what you're having this evening. Again, welcome to our tea time. This is our evening edition for our tea time, last Tuesday of the month. And speaking of March and this month, we want to be able to observe, as we always do, our observances for the month, which is the National Women's History Month. And we are honoring the contributions and accomplishments of women throughout history. And the Renewal Center, we are celebrating this. So we are coming to an end, but we want to still just celebrate and still honor National Women's History Month this year. All right. And again, what is your tea of choice? Uh, I tell you, I'm having I think this is lemon It's a new lemon tea that I'm trying called Lemon Balm.
Lemon
Uh,
balm.
yeah, lemon balm, a bit refreshing, got a little sweet tang to it. And I add just a little drop or two of honey or agave, or sometimes I drink it straight. So it's really, really refreshing.
Okay.
Right. So what's going on with everybody out there? Good evening, Michelle, part of our Tea Time community. Good evening. Be transformed. Transformational moment. Hey there, Mel. Good evening to you. Uh, all right, that's right. I am renewal. All right, the forgiveness channel. Okay, peach tea. All right, pretty good one. Okay. All right, robust tea. All right, Michelle. Great. Okay, I see the variety of teas coming in.
Hmm.
Evening, yes. All right, so as we move on, we want to take a moment, as we always do, to take a moment to pause. As we know, tea time is about pause, resetting, and building resilience. And so, this is the time that we're going to actually take a moment to pause. Those who are new, we just take a moment to just sit still and just enjoy whatever scenery that comes up in just a moment of quiet and silence. So, we're going to go ahead into our locate ourselves part of our tea time. All right. Thank you so much, Patrick. That scenery was great. I loved it. Thank you so much for that. I hope you guys enjoyed our locate yourselves. I hope you guys have your tea time journal out. You're ready to engage. Again, welcome to our Tea Time Tuesday. We're going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Patrick, as you lead us this Tuesday evening in our tea time.
All right. Thank you so much, Hope. And good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming on Tea Time Tuesday. Want to encourage you, please make sure that you subscribe and press the notification bell for our YouTube channel. Let me know that you're here, that you're connected again. Thanks, everybody, for coming on this evening. We know that Tea Time is about pause, reset, and building resilience. So good to have you on this evening, everyone. Your tea of choice, wild berry tea. All right, wild berry tea. Excellent, excellent. Well, I tell you, last week we were focused on resilient thinking part one. This evening, we're going to do resilient thinking part two. And then part three is going to be next Tuesday. So really going to continue to move forward with the renewal practices. Good to see our Nika Pan. Hey, Nicole. Hello, hello. Good evening. Good to see you as well. So glad to have everyone. Please make sure that you like. All right, let's get the likes up. Let's get the hearts up. Let's get the engagement up. Also, please share this link. Let everybody know that we are no longer on any other site except for our YouTube channel. We're going to build this engagement, strengthen this engagement. Looking forward to expanding our tea time community and also expand renewal practices and the importance of us locating ourselves. And so that's what we're here for, is to help us focus on renewal practices. So everyone, if you can, just go ahead and put in resilience in the comments. Resilience. Let's connect. Resilience. Let us know that you're focused on that this evening. Last week, we start talking about resilience, and I wanted us to go back to that same emphasis about resilient thinking again this evening, Hope. And I wanted us to start out again. Just give me your definitions again. All right, your definitions on resilience. Go ahead and type in resilience in the comments, resilience, and give us your definitions one more time about resilience. What is resilience to you? What does it look like to you? What does it mean to you? And the importance of that in your life. And so one of the key things that I wanted us to emphasize, Hope, is why we need to build resilience as a renewal practice. And one of the key things that I think about when I think about resilience again is the ability to keep pursuing your end goals, your objectives, what you want to see happen in your life, in spite of adversity, in spite of whatever adversity that you're experiencing. Resilience gives us the ability to keep pursuing those goals or those objectives that we have. Hope, thoughts on your definition of resilience when you think about resilient thinking or just resilience overall?
What comes to mind when I think about resilience is the the fortitude to come back and be able to navigate difficult situations, in life, challenging situations, to be able to have to come back, um, that make you stronger than what you were before a
Mm-hmm.
particular situation. So that's when I think of resilience, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Is even with tea time saying, Paul said in building, building resilience, and
Mm-hmm.
so building, that opportunity to be able to come back from adversity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Forgiveness Channel says recovering safely. Nisha Fitz says the ability to push through and or rebound from challenging obstacles. Absolutely. Everybody, put in your comments resilience, if you will, and also what does resilience mean to you? What does that look like, or how is that reflected in your life? And it's important that we have this resilience conversation, Hope. Considering what's happening in our world today, we can get caught up into what we're seeing. And one thing I like to always say is don't absorb what you observe. Because many times we observe things, we absorb it, it becomes part of us, and it's hard for us to bounce back because we're internalizing and personalizing what we're experiencing or what we're absorbing in the world. And so it's important that we learn to pause and reset. And part of resetting is resilience building, saying I'm willing to pause where I am. So a couple of things I want us to go over this evening and just review, but also talk through different ways. And one of the things that we're going to work on this evening, Hope, as a renewal practice is exercising reframing in resilience. Reframing in resilience. So because of these definitions that we talked through concerning resilience and resilient thinking, I think we heard Nichelle said the ability to push through and or rebound from challenging obstacles. The forgiveness channel said recovering safely. And so they're bounce back, coming back, those types of descriptions and definitions. It's important that we learn to reframe. So one of the key things we're going to work on is how are we reframing and the power of reframing questions or reframing how we look at situations. And I want everybody to think about a picture or a painting that you may have. And when you put it in a frame, depending on the color of the frame, you'll notice different items or colors or images that are actually within the actual picture itself. And it's all about how you frame it or reframe it, where it calls out specific things within the actual picture itself. And sometimes we don't notice the frame, what's in the picture many times because of the color or the type of frame that we have, Hope. And so one of the things that I want us to think about is how are we reframing how we look at what we're experiencing? Has there ever been a time in your life, Hope, that you've reframed something? And if so, what happened to you when you did that?
Well, yeah, there's been actually there's been plenty of times.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing I can say that happened to me was growth. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, that's the first thing that happened. When you say the first thing, growth is what happened. Growth is what took place. The continual, perpetual state of evolving.
Mm-hmm.
When you're coming or coming out or pushing forward in resilience is the place of growth and just allowing my perspectives to be enlightened and changed as well.
Perfect, perfect. So growth happened in your life. I want everybody to think about reframing. Carmela says here, be transformed, transformational moment, resilience, overcoming challenges, and applying positive solutions them
Mhm.
along the way. All right, positive solutions along the way. So it's important that we work on, again, how do we actually reframe? And so I want us to think about reframing. What are you looking at right now? If you're out there and you're journaling or you're participating in the renewal practice, I want you to think about what you are experiencing right now. That might be adversity or it might be a difficult situation that you're walking through right now that you need to reframe. Put that in your head. What do you need to reframe? Because again, resilience is about reframing. All right. About reframing. And again, it goes back to how we're framing something. And so we're going to work on different ways to reframe. We're going to use 4 principles or 4 practices this evening, and then some questions we're going to pose to help us navigate the ability to reframe. And to hope, to your point, you said that you experienced growth. All right. And so one of the things we're going to do is we're going to work on specifically some areas or an adverse situation or what we're experiencing or what we're looking at right now so that we can foster resilience. One way we can do it, of course, is locating yourself, but that's something I'll focus on at the end. All right, let's dive into this. First of all, I want you to think about changing the context. I want you to think about change the context. Everybody put that down in the comments. Change the context. All right. What do you mean by changing the context? Well, shift the context or your environment. Venture on a new routine. All right. You can do that physically. You can do that mentally. You can do that imaginatively. Is learning how to change the context. That is the first renewal practice this evening about reframing. Now, I want you to think about that. Go another route. See where it says venture on a new routine. Venture on a new routine. Change the context is important. Venturing on a new routine. So let's break this down a little further, and then hoping I'd like you to get some of your perspective on this as well. When we think about changing the context or venturing into a new routine, it might be, for instance, if you're used to going a certain path home, right? If you're driving from someplace, many times you see different things. We know you'll see something different if you take a different route. That's just normal, basic, fundamental. But many times we don't take a different route when we're experiencing internally an adverse situation. We stay the same. And so if we're going to evolve, right, and grow, then it's important that we take a different routine in order for us to be able to get a different outcome. So when you think about the term change the context or experiencing a routine, what does that mean to you, or how has that played out in your life, Hope?
Well, as you said, a routine is something that you embark in or engage in um, every day. It's the same thing. One thing that you said that stuck out to me was like if you take the the same route home, you take the same route home, and so what I thought about living where I live, sometimes I may not even have it planned, and I'm going to take a different route, but because of what's going on in the situation of traffic, I'm introduced to an alternative route, even
Mm-hmm.
though it wasn't planned. And that's the way I see that. It's not just like the mindset of I'm going to do it. Sometimes these particular things they just happen. A new routine takes place. Just like on our jobs, unexpected changes. We're used to doing things a certain way on our jobs, and then maybe they may come in one day, and that whole routine may change and be implemented the next day or next week without notice. So
Hmm.
sometimes with our routines, they're not always a planned change. Sometimes they're a change that takes place without us fully, planning it.
Hmm.
So um, just embracing the mindset of change and being open to a different routine. How does that make me? for me, I ask myself, how does that make me feel when I have to take an alternative route or a different routine? How
Mhm.
does that make me feel? Sometimes I feel uncomfortable because there's sometimes being uncomfortable with the unknown. Sometimes I'm wanting and willing to do it because I'm excited to be able to try something new that I've never tried before, even if it's unexpected. So that's just what I want to add when it comes to
Mhm.
routines in life. Hmm.
Yeah, and we can do that even when we're experiencing certain, just minute minutia, just redundancies in our jobs or
Hmm.
careers or certain things we're experiencing. And so, everyone, tea timers, when you're thinking about your adversity or what you're struggling with right now, something that you're enduring, it could be rejection, it could be criticism, because everybody endures rejections and criticism. We all
Hmm.
do. Okay, that's a normal part of who we are and a normal part of our lives. But again, and in addition to that, my question to us today and our challenge from a renewal practice perspective is, how do we change the context? You can change the context. You can shift it. You can venture on a new routine. In venturing on a new routine, so I'd like you to think about the question here: how can you, or how would you change your routine, perhaps in how you're approaching a problem, how you're approaching a situation, how you're approaching an adverse situation, how you're approaching criticism or rejection or something that you're experiencing that is a challenge for you right now. And you say, I want to strengthen my resilience building. I'm going to change the context. So that's the first thing I'm going to focus on. And now I'm going to work on how would I change my routine. So, T timers, I want you to think about this. All right, as we pause, reset, and build resilience, how would you change your routine? What are some things you can do differently that you haven't done before? All right, how can you do something different that you haven't done before because you're saying, I'm willing to change my context? Sometimes that could be also certain things in our environment as well. So, again, if we're going to build resilience and it's about bouncing back, and if it's about overcoming challenges and incorporating positive solutions, if it's about the ability to push through, all right, I just want to go back to these definitions: pushing through or rebounding challenging obstacles. Again, overcoming challenges, applying positive solutions to them along the way. Again, recovering safely, right? These are different descriptions and definitions of it. So, my first challenge to us today, as far as a renewal practice about changing the context, would be, how would you change your routine? All right. How would you change your routine? I want us to think about that. Take some time to pause. All right. This is not something we got to rush through. We don't do that for renewal practices. All right. We want to pause and sit with it, as we always say. Sit with it. Okay. I'm going to change the context and think about, how would I change my routine? I hope I want you to think about that too, as well as thinking about what you're trying to grow or what you're facing, or what I'm facing, what we face in life, and what we're facing in society, what we're dealing with in front of us, and the different roles that we play in life. We want to think about changing the context. All right. Forgiven this channel says, changing my perception, thinking right in the middle of those adverse circumstances calmly and imagining a different way of responding for a resilient outcome. Romans 12:2. All right. Thank you for sharing that. The forgiveness channel. All right. How about you change your routine? If you're writing in your journal, take your time with it. If you're sitting with it, that's fine. Think through this so that we can really focus on the renewal principle that comes out of this resilient thinking approach. All right, let's keep going, Hope. The next one would be, try something new. Let's go down. So we're going from change the context, try something new. Everybody in the comment, put down try something new. Try something new. All right. What are you learning that's new? Right? Mental flexibility or agility is aided by novelty. When we say novelty, that means something you have not done before.
Hmm.
Something you have not done before. Try something new. All right. I know everybody's probably thinking through it right now, but I want you to think about it, especially now that we're in the spring season. So this would be a good time to try something new. What are
Hmm.
you willing to do that's new that you have not done before? Something that is novel, right? Let me go back to the renewal practice one more time, just for review. Mental flexibility or even agility, right, is aided by novelty. That is a very important point when you're trying something new. Now, I hope you can't try something new if you say, well, I already know that. All right.
Right.
You got to be willing to be pliable.
Mm-hmm.
So in your life, when you think about trying something new, when you're trying to build resilience, um, what have you done differently? Or shall I say, have you tried anything new lately? What are you exploring that's different for Hope, if any? Or maybe you're thinking about it.
Well, I had a couple of things I was gonna try to. I was gonna try to get involved in an activity, and it was line dancing. I was gonna try to get involved in that, and then um, finish out my foreign language that I'm that I'm wanting to learn.
What you trying to learn? What you trying to learn? What you trying to speak?
Well, right now I'm working on Spanish.
Well, look at you. Okay.
In Spanish.
All right.
Then from there, I'll go to French after that. But
Okay, everybody. Hope is learning Spanish, so test her tonight.
no, let's not test me tonight because I don't
Ah,
know how. I don't know how it would go.
you got
I
to
don't
learn
know.
by trial.
No, not yet.
Try something new. That's
hmm
right. Try something new, everybody. Put in the comments. Thank you for giving this channel. Try something new. All right, Michelle. Try something new. What are you doing? Here's my question. What are you doing that is new? So Hope is going to be doing some new dancing, some new line dancing. She's going to learn some new language. All right. What else you thinking about? Anything else? Again, folks, share with us. What are you trying that's something that's new? Because again, to get a resilient outcome and to change our resilient perspective and our thinking, we got to start thinking about try something new. All right. She said, like we got on here, learning a new dance, a new language, a new recipe. Mental flexibility is aided by novelty. Is aided by novelty. So I want to ask everyone the question again. What are you doing that is new? And what that will do is that will help you in reframing. It helps you deal with doubts. It helps you address fears. It helps you address growth mindset issues. It helps you develop other aspects of your thinking that you have not considered before because you're willing to try something new that you haven't done before, right? So I want us to think about that as a renewal practice this evening, changing the context, but also try something new. And Hope, this also is important. If you're facing a particular challenge in your job, career, co-workers, bosses, people that report to you, your functional areas, your work streams, what have you, departments, you name it, try something new in your job. Try a different approach of responding. Try how you would speak differently or engage differently so that you can begin to embrace something or get a different result. Because many times new thinking can bring new results, and a new approach could bring new results because we haven't tried it before. So I want everybody to think about something that is considered incredibly adverse, that is a struggle, that is a challenge, and then I want you to answer the question, how am I going to engage this in a new way? How am I going to engage this particular challenge in a new way? That's an important question for us to ask. Hope, and I want you to think about that as well, because now we're talking about, okay, what can I do something as new, right? Then the other part of it is, how am I going to engage this particular challenge or this adverse situation in a new way that I haven't done before? And many times what that does is it helps us reframe how we're approaching the circumstance. All right, let's get a couple of questions. You want to answer a few of these? Here we go.
All right, swimming. The forgiveness children says swimming. All right,
Hmm.
nice. All right. Michelle says learning a new skill way outside of my norms. All
All
right.
right, let's push
Okay.
that forward. What is that new skill going to be? Name that skill.
I knew you were.
Name
I knew
that
you were. You just
skill.
were gonna leave that. You were gonna dig
I'm
in
not
to
gonna leave
find
that.
out
That's
what skill.
yeah, new skill. Yeah, yeah. What new skill you talking about? All right, let's go ahead.
All right. Be transformed. Transformational moment says trying something new will keep you mentally and emotionally sharp. It will also foster growth.
All
Hmm.
right. Thank you. Thank you. Be transformed. Translation a moment. What are you gonna do that's new? Let's keep going. Hope Matters PLLC to learn to make homemade preserves, making candles. All right, Nisha came back and said cybersecurity, IT.
Okay.
All right, okay, very good. This is good. Now I want us to think about when we think about what are we doing that's new, T timers. Here's the next question, and the next question is going to be about how are you going to approach um, how are you going to approach your adverse situation in a new way? Like what will you do differently? So when
Hmm.
we think about new, it also means something I'm going to do differently or think differently towards it because different thinking will bring different results. Absolutely.
Hmm.
I will continue studying new cultures. All right. All right. So then everybody think through again, we're talking about resilient thinking. Resilient thinking, number one, change the context. Number two, try something new. So those are two areas that we're thinking about. Our routines that we need to shift a little bit and do something different. Let me think about what I'm going to do something new. Right now, I got too many things going on. But I need to think through because I'm constantly reading new things. And for me, it's the exposure to different information that's really helping me right now. But I'm actually hope I'm reading some things about agriculture and
Okay.
horticulture and how that relates to growth, personal growth,
Mm.
and helping others grow. And so
Mhm.
I'm reading a couple of books that are relating. They're like a framework of taking horticulture and agriculture principles and relating that to the growth of the brain and the growth of the mind in neuroscience and neuropsychology. It's very interesting. I just started recently, but it's interesting to be exposed. And of course, I had my dictionary next to me because there were new words that I had no idea, like what is that, and I had to go and research some new words. So that's a little new
Oh,
thing for me as well.
yeah.
So as far as trying something new, so I want to
Mhm.
encourage everyone, maybe also finding someone who has a skill that you don't have and saying, "Hey, I want to sit down and learn from you."
Mhm.
That helps build resilience as well because you're learning from someone else. So
Mhm.
there's a skill set you want to attain. It's good to maybe it could be a friend, it could be somebody that's a mentor, it could be someone that you can connect with that has a
Yeah.
body of knowledge, what have you. But that might be helpful also in terms of helping you with your venture on a new routine. That helps you with confidence and encouragement as well. But again, the key thing about trying something new, Hope, that I want us to get across is I want us to think about mental flexibility and how that is aided by novelty. So we think
Okay.
about trying something new, not just a new skill or a habit or a hobby, but
Mhm.
also the way that we're thinking towards a particular problem. And so if you and
Mhm.
I are facing that, then we want to consider a different approach. Any thoughts on that?
Mhm. No, I think that's great. What you mentioned was approach.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes learning something new, can make you kind of feel like I don't know because it's the unknown. But I realize like what approach am I taking when I'm wanting to learn something new, even though it's something I've never learned before. It's out of my comfort zone. And what I've done, even when I said, about learning something new, is I begin to write down in my journal what's the benefits of why I'm learning it. Why am I learning it, and the benefits of what I'm going to get from learning it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the approach that I've taken now to um, to new things, to learning new things.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's good. And I'm glad we're doing that because we're our worst critics sometimes when it comes to experiencing criticism and rejection and adversity, suffering, circumstances that are against us. And I appreciate you sharing that as far as what are some of the benefits of learning that. So again, everyone, I want us to think about what are you going to try that's different, and really commit to that. Really commit to that, because we're going to come back next week and talk about resilience thinking again, part 3, because we want to continue to grow and expand how we show up in this area. Okay, the forgiveness channel says, I will meet more communities that align with my areas of interest, possible meetup groups I'm looking into. All right. Thank you, the forgiveness channel. Hope you want to read this one.
It says, I will try canning and learning about homeopathic remedies.
All right. Mm-hmm. Organic, open-mindedness. Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely. Good, good. So again, let's think through ways that we, again, can try something new, right?
Hmm.
Thank you all for your comments. I greatly appreciate that. Trying something new and changing the context. All right. Those are the 2 things that we want to work through. All right. Venturing in a new routine. What route am I going to take differently? Matter of fact, our neural pathways, just like, for instance, when we win a game, our brain becomes wired, our endorphins, there are chemicals,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
they come in, and I want that same kick again. It's like a slot
Hmm.
machine. It's like, it is. It's like, hey,
Hmm.
so
Yes. Yeah.
when we build a new routine, we get a different result. So sometimes we
Hmm.
got to think about what new routines we're going to take,
Hmm.
and that helps you build an area that you haven't built before,
Hmm.
and you start really rerouting how you're thinking and the way that you're thinking. So it's not just about just saying, "Oh, I'm going to try something." I really want to ensure that we commit to doing that, because when we change our routine, we develop a new routine. It opens up our mindset and our brains to new growth. All right, new growth,
Mm.
perspectives, new insights, and then I try it. I think it's so adage for those of us that are in learning and development is tell me, show me, and then let me do it sometimes. And so, tell me about it. Oh, okay, show me, let me see it, and then help me, let me do this, let me try this out, so that I could tactically, tangibly work through the new skill, the new habit, and the new routine. So we're
Mhm.
changing context, everyone, but we're also going to focus on trying something new. Number 3, renewal practice, question your thoughts and words. Question your thoughts and words. Become aware of what you're thinking and saying. So, questioning your thoughts and your words. Now, this is important because you want to make sure that when we think about questioning our thoughts and our words, we want to make sure that we are evolving and growing even what we say about ourselves and how we're
Yes,
speaking about circumstances. So, that's what
that's
that
good.
means when we say questioning
Hmm.
our thoughts and our words.
Hmm.
Why would you think that's important, tea timers, as well as you hope, the importance of questioning our thoughts and our words and becoming aware of what you're thinking and what you're saying as it relates to reframing? And I want you to tie this, if you can, to reframing in resilience, everyone. Any thoughts on that?
Well, my first thought was, in order to reframe, I have to be aware of my thoughts
Mm-hmm.
and understand where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Awareness is power. So when I have the awareness, I have the power to move into a place where I can reframe. So I'm being aware of what I'm thinking, what I'm saying, um, why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking, and why am I saying what I am saying if it's not edifying or building oneself up and aligning to be reframed. So the awareness is the most important part. What I heard from what you were saying, the most important part, to be aware of my thoughts and the root of my thoughts, to be able to understand, to be able to allow a reframing to take place. If I don't understand what I'm thinking, if I'm not aware of what I'm thinking, why I'm thinking, or what I'm saying, then I won't be able to fully embrace the reframing that can take place. So when I think of reframing, there may be some things that I may be saying about myself or thinking that may not be true, maybe even about my personal situation or situations I face in life. The reframing part comes in because I become aware of it, and then I allow the reframing to take place that allows my mind and my thoughts to navigate in a more positive, reforming way. So that's what I think of when you say that. I always think about awareness is power, because if I'm not
Yeah.
aware, I can't really fully, understand and completion
Yeah.
of how I'm thinking.
Good. Good. Good to hear from the comments. Thank you for sharing that, Hope. It is so important that we think about thinking, questioning our thoughts, questioning our words. One of the things I like to share is all you know is all you've learned,
Mhm.
right? All you know is all you've learned. And so if we aren't questioning our thoughts and our words, we become victims of our current body of knowledge. And we're not exploring, and we're not exposing ourselves and extending our mindsets, or including other frameworks, perspectives,
Wow.
theories, concepts,
Mm.
experiences from others, core principles that we can absorb, right? And so when we think about our lives and we think about reframing perspective, we want, okay, everybody think about the frame. Once you
Mhm.
change the framing, the picture doesn't change, but the way you look at the picture does change.
Right. Mhm.
So the framing helps you
Wow.
thoughts, your questions, your words, your perspectives. And once I start thinking about, let me question, why did I even have that thought? Where did that thought come from? And again, that thought is not you, right? It is a thought.
Mm.
It comes to you, but then when you start thinking about it, that's when it becomes internalized. So here comes the thoughts. All right, I hear it, I see it. All right, me experience it, I'll let it pass. But then it sticks to me when I constantly reflect, right?
Mhm.
So that's why
That's
we
good.
think on things that are positive, things that are promoting us and moving us forward. So I want everyone to think about what adversity you might be facing. We started out with that as far as building
Mhm.
resilience, right? Overcoming challenges, bouncing back safely and securely. How do we navigate those spaces where we're positive and we're able to still move forward without allowing that situation to produce a traumatic effect on our lives?
Mm.
So it's important that we think about questioning your thoughts and words and become aware of what you're thinking and saying. Becoming aware. All right. Got a couple of comments coming in here about it. You want to read this? Give this channel.
Sure. Think about what I'm thinking about. Deeply asking, where are these thoughts coming from?
All
Hmm.
right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next one.
What we think is what we're most likely to lean towards in actions.
Right. So therefore, we need to evaluate, assess what we're thinking, why we're
Hmm.
thinking, questioning those thoughts and actions because they could be incorrect. Right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So it's important, or we need to evaluate where did they come from? How do we know it's true? What happens if we're wrong in that thinking perspective? So it's
Mhm.
important that we're able to do that and not to get into lateral thinking and, critical thinking and creative thinking. I think those are very important thinking process we probably would need to explore perhaps on a tea time in the future to
Right.
help us grow in those spaces. But for the sake of reframing everyone, I want you to think about how will you think differently towards what you're facing? So, how can I
Mm.
think differently towards what I'm experiencing right now? Criticism, rejection, this situation, that situation, something that's been I've been ruminating or in my mind over and over again. How will I think differently about the circumstance of the situation? This has nothing to do with anybody else except for ourselves. So it's not about, oh, well, they're thinking this. It's about what we're dealing with ourselves and what we need to do differently as it relates to what we are facing. So, T timers, I want you to think about what it is that you're experiencing right now and how you'll respond in your thinking differently.
Mm.
Question: really sit there and take some time with it because you're going to see such growth come in your life when you take time to sit with the answers. All right. And lastly, mix up the way you think.
That's good.
Number four, mix up the way you think. And again, we're talking about reframing and resilience. change the context, try something new, question your thoughts and words, and mix up the way you think. Many times, innovation and creation arise after focused thought and diffuse attention. Wow. Innovation and creation arise after focused thought and diffused attention. Woo, we're going to get on this a little bit deeper too. So, mix up the way you think. Well, that's just how I am. How's that? What's going on with your results? That's just how I've always been. I'm from this. This is how my family thinks. This is where I'm from.
Yeah.
All right. Mix it up sometimes. Think critically. Think creatively. Think laterally. Think figuratively. Think imaginatively. Approach a challenge regenerative in a way that you're approaching that helps expand your presence when you're experiencing criticism, rejection, or redundancy or resistance, even in your job or working with other people. The way that you think about it, if you start working on multiple ways of thinking about something and mixing up the way you think, you become innovative and creative, and that'll arise after focused thought. All right, everybody? Everybody write it out. Mix up your thinking.
Yeah,
mix up your thinking. Take different approaches to mix up your thinking. All right, that's important because once you do that, you start mixing it up. You start drawing from spaces that you've never drawn from before, that you even really didn't even consider, because you've used different approaches to your thinking process. And again, that helps you reframe. So I'd like to ask another question about how will mixing up your thinking, everyone, mix up your thinking, how will that help you reframe? How does that help you reframe? Just kind of think about it. Meditate on that. Hope if you want to chime in, please feel free to share your thoughts. But I want us to think about this as it relates to when you and I, when we mix up our thinking, what does that do to your reframing? Because innovation and creation can arise after focused thought. And that helps us with reframing. Perhaps you're exposed to certain perspectives that you didn't consider before. So, Hope, if you mix up your thinking, what do you think will happen if you mix up your thinking as it relates to reframing or a challenge that you might be facing?
I think if I mix up my thinking, it'll bring a better, better perspective for me, more clarity, and more self-evolving, like evolving, because I'm open even in complex situation. Comes sometimes I may be able to see things just one way, and when I'm open to different thinking, meaning not of my own but maybe someone else's, maybe your thinking, being able to hear that. And I think it's great because it allows me to navigate in whatever situation I'm in from a different perspective and not just the same, um, a place where it's just the same thoughts, same situation, and sometimes I'm seeing the same results. I think for me, when my thinking is um, I would say allowing new perspectives to come in, I begin to open myself and allow myself to be able to navigate outside of the norm as well. And not just like you kind of what you said earlier about the same routine every routine. But when I'm open up for your perspective or thoughts that may come in to broaden my understanding, then I'm able to navigate and move forward in a different routine, starting with my thoughts and you know um, the ground of my thoughts. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. What do you think will happen? Well, how have you seen your own self grow when you've approached a situation and you heard a new perspective and you got a new insight? What did that do to you?
I'm sorry, I was taking notes as well. Two
Oh,
places.
you good?
But but
Hmm.
for me personally, it's kind of like a aha, okay.
Mm,
That's what was missing that I didn't catch, that I didn't grasp. So that's why it's important to me because I'm the type I like to learn. And so if that when that happens for me, it's kind of like just this moment of like, okay, wow, I get it now that maybe I didn't get before. But now I get it in a different way, in a different perspective because I open myself up to view it in a different way.
mm, mm. Good, good. Mix up your thinking. Good, good.
Mm-hmm.
Get some more results. Hey, Monique. Good evening. Mixed thinking provides several different perspectives. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Michelle says, I've been doing this a lot lately by revisiting journals, coming up with new perspectives and a renewed mind. I'm going to give everyone a challenge here also to look up different ways of thinking. For instance, and you can search this yourself, but think about how you can embrace critical, creative, divergent, convergent, abstract, concrete, emotional reasoning, creative, holistic, idealism, realism, etc. There are several different approaches to thinking, and really think about how can I be more critical? How can I be more creative? How can I be more convergent? How can I be concrete or abstract? So really think through ways. And when we think about ways of thinking, this is what I'm referring to, is thinking about it by mixing up the way that I think, by perhaps revisiting information, but in a different way of revisiting it. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So asking different questions. See, the power is not in your answer. It is in how you're approaching your thinking and your questions. That's what causes you to think differently, is by the way that you frame different types of questions. Your vocabulary expands, your imagination expands, your black and white thinking, that expands. You start synthesizing more instead of analyzing less. For the analytical thinkers, right? Breaking things down, you're learning to look at the pieces differently because you're being critical and creative. So you're using multiple approaches to thinking. So those are the things that I want us to think about when we are thinking through this last renewal practice about mix up the way you think. You become innovative and creative when you have focused thought. That's another way of building resilience. You bounce back more because you're using different ways of thinking. You're able to bounce back. You're able to learn. You have less residue, that comes after you because you've learned to embrace it. So, a few things I want to leave everybody with, just from a questions perspective. And I want you to write these down. Feel free to answer some of these in the comments. As we're thinking through, again, we're talking about reframing. So, here's something you can use right now. You can actually use this right now immediately, or you can use it tomorrow. All right. Is questions you can ask yourself to help yourself or others reframe how they or you are seeing your recent experiences. So, again, these are some questions. I'll bring it back up. Here are some
Mm-hmm.
questions that you can ask immediately, right? That'll help you reframe. So, Hope, let's look at
Okay.
this. I want everybody to think about something you're facing again. And
Mm-hmm.
again, this is for those of us that are pliable and want mental agility. If you already know this stuff, it's not for you if you're already doing it. But this is when we say, I'm open to growth. So I want us to stay
Mm-hmm.
pliable, folks. All right. Again, questions you can ask to help. All right. To help, excuse me, yourself or others reframe how you're seeing their recent experiences. I messed that up. So sorry. All right.
All right.
All right. Did you lose or did you learn?
Mm.
Interesting question. I don't know why I wrote that one down, but I just wrote it down. Sounds like a binary question, but or did you lose and learn? Were you
Mm-hmm.
fired or freed up to succeed? Again, this is reframing questions. Is this an obstacle or an opportunity?
Mm-hmm.
Now write these down succinctly. Oh, you know what? I lost this. There's something I learned. What and then start now. If you say I I did lose, why did I lose in this situation? I did learn. What did I learn from this situation? What did I learn about me? What did I learn about others? What did I learn about the situation? Were you fired up or freed up to succeed? Were you fired up or freed up to succeed? All right, here's a few more. Is this an obstacle or an opportunity? If it's an obstacle, do I have control over it? How can I get around it, under it? How can I push it forward? How can I jump on top of it? Because an obstacle is just an obstacle. So, I mean, maybe I need to break it down. Maybe I need to blow it up. Maybe I need to push it around. Maybe I need to go under it or around it. Okay, because it's an obstacle or an opportunity. How do you want this story to end? Hope, how do you want your story, this story to end? What you're facing right now? It doesn't matter. Well, if it doesn't matter, then that means that, what does that mean? That means that there's not intentionality. So we need to think through, well, I wanted to end with peace. I wanted to end with joy. I wanted to end with happiness. I wanted to end with growth and expansion. I wanted to end with something, a new skill set, a new mindset. I've tethered myself in this, climbing up this mountain, this challenge that I'm experiencing. I've lowered myself well in this. Okay, what is your learning moment? Now, this last one, Hope, that I put there is, what would blank do? Now, this is thinking, and why did I put that there was, Hope, because of this reason. I thought about people that I've learned from, people who have expertise in a specific area, people that have insight, even mentors, or people who've gone farther in different areas that I may not have expanded in. So I'll ask the question, well, what would that person do? And the reason why we ask that type of question, and this is not to say, well, I'm going to be me. That's not what this is about. This is about, if I see that person is successful, they're walking in joy, they're walking in wholeness, they're being productive, they're progressing who they are, they've maintained their character, they've maintained their integrity, what would that person do? And then as I ask that question, either of them or I consider that helps me reframe. Which one of these questions jump out to you, Hope, and Tea Time community, when you think about questions you can ask yourself or others to help reframe? And I want you to also think about this from a perspective of, I would say, when you're helping others as well. These are questions you can ask other people and questions you can ask yourself. So Hope, I want to ask you, which particular question jumps out to you? And also our Tea Time community, please put it in the comments, folks. Which particular question jumps out to you and maybe why? Thoughts?
Okay.
We'll bring it up again. There you go.
Yeah, the question that stuck out to me is this an obstacle or an opportunity?
Okay. Why is that?
Because each situation, I just need to look at it from the standpoint of, is this an opportunity? Is this some place where I can grow? Is this an opportunity, or how is it an obstacle? It's just particularly on how I personally see it. So this is a question about my personal view or my personal perspective when I'm looking at something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Let's hear from the Tea Time community. I wanted to hear their thoughts. And then if you choose a question, everyone, I want you to ask us now, why did I choose that question? Why did I choose that question? And take some time to answer that question as well. Okay. What is your learning moment here? How do you want this story to end? All right. Anybody else want to answer? What are some of the questions? What question jumps out to you out of this list? When you think about this list here, what jumps out to you? Hope Matters PLLC says, listening differently from the other person's perspective, solve from that perspective. Yes. Thank you for answering that as well, chiming in on that. So anybody think about this, which question out here jumps out to you? Now, this is going to help you reframe, but also if somebody's coming to you with a challenge, instead of immediately trying to solve their problem, ask some questions. Oh, I hear you. Well, what's your learning moment here? Instead of saying, well, let me tell you how to solve this, Hope.
Mhm.
So, Hope, since you like that question, is this an obstacle opportunity? I'm asking that question a couple times here. Hey, Hope, is that an obstacle? Is that an opportunity? It's an opportunity. Okay, what's the opportunity there? And you know what that will do? You will innovate and create with these
Mm.
kinds of questions. It causes you to reframe
Yes.
if we take that approach.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Did I lose or learn?
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Good, good. All
Mm.
right. Resilient thinking. Now, up next week, next Tuesday on Tea Time Tuesday, be our first Tuesday for the month of April. We're going to revisit this same subject, but we're going to build on this resilient thinking. We're going to build on reframing and exercising reframing. I would like you, Tea Timers, come back and let's recap. What are some of the things that you did differently? What did you learn? How did you implement? How did you perhaps use these questions to help you reframe and help others reframe as well? All right. You want to read this one, Hope, here from Alicia?
Sure. What is your learning moment here? There has to be a purpose or meaning to what I have dealt with or experienced. God will use certain things to help me see Him in it and where I need to seek Him.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You can grow spiritually. You can grow intellectually. You can grow on so many different levels when you're asking these types of questions here. What would be the lesson? I experienced some things in my career, in my life. I started asking myself, okay, what did I learn
Mm-hmm.
in this situation? How do I want this to end? I want this to be agreeable. I want unity to be the result. I want to make sure I grow and resolve. Um, what is my learning moment? And I begin to answer those kinds of questions. What's my learning moment in this situation?
Mm-hmm.
What did I learn about me that I'm going to do differently? Because we're always growing and evolving. All right. So, a couple of things I wanted to make sure that we think through this in ways we can reframe. This is about reframing to build resilience. The
Yes.
forgiveness channel says, were you fired up or freed up? When properly viewed, an honest response from either answer brings clarity and lets me know how to respond with a new mindset. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, these questions are not good or bad. They have actually no good or bad and descriptors to it. It's simply asking the question, sitting with the answer, even questioning the answer and saying, how am I going to grow from this? How am I going to continue to reframe as a result of asking these kinds of questions? And you can do this with others as well. If you're a leader, if you're a supervisor, if you're coaching others, if you're counseling others, whatever, start asking questions to help people reframe. But let's resist answering questions for people. Let's resist trying to offer the solution consistently and maybe take a step back and asking these kinds of questions. Did you lose or learn? Or these different questions so that we can grow in the space of reframing. Again,
Mm-hmm.
this is about us reframing. All right, everyone. All right. I hope everybody has really gotten some takeaways from our practices today on resilient thinking part 2. Next week, we'll do resilient thinking part 3. If you
Mm-hmm.
will, please place in the comments, what are your takeaways from today? What is something you're going to really put into motion as a renewal practice? What are some new things you potentially learned? What are you going to do differently? What are your takeaways? What are you going to
Mm-hmm.
refine? I'm asking all these questions because I want to get some comments going. What is one thing you're going to do between now and next week that's going to help you in the area of reframing? And again, today we talked about resilient thinking. Excuse me, that was last week. Exercising, reframing, and resilience. Change the context. Try something new. Question your thoughts and words. Mix up the way that you think. Those are the 4 exercises to help you reframe and resilience. And then we talked about questions you can ask yourself, you can ask others to help how you or they are seeing their recent experiences. It's a good way to debrief who we are.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, the comments are coming in as far as takeaways. Hope let's uh, address a few announcements that we got coming up here soon, if you don't mind.
Sure. All right. We want to invite you to join us for the New You Digital Discipleship, which is held on Sundays at 10 a.m. If you don't have a place to fellowship, we would love for you to come join us on Zoom Live on Sunday. And if you have downloaded the mobile app, you can receive the information there, or not just our mobile app. We have an actual website. Okay, so you can go to our website as well. And view a lot of different things, listen to messages as well. So, and see our announcement about our New Year Digital Discipleship as well at 10 a.m. on Sundays. All right, and there it is. Tea Time Tuesday, first, second, and third Tuesdays at 12 p.m. And of course, our last Tuesday is at 7 p.m., where we pause, reset, and build resilience. Please get the word out there that we're over on YouTube. That's where we're going to be from now on, moving forward. And we invite you to invite other people to join us for a time of pause, reset, and building resilience. All right. We invite you to join us for Reforming Culture with our Kingdom of God series. This is going to be held tomorrow, Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. It has absolutely been phenomenal, I can say. I mean, it's been a rich teaching. If you join, invite someone to join us, and we'll see you all tomorrow for our Reforming Culture Kingdom of God series, Wednesdays tomorrow again at 7:30 p.m. Invite someone to join us as well. All right, and all roads lead to grief recovery. We have our individual sessions, and soon we'll have our group sessions to follow. We are so thankful for this time. If you know someone in need of grief recovery services, please have them contact the Renewal Center or one of our team members. We have certified grief recovery specialists on our team, and we're open and willing to help anyone who's looking for grief recovery services as well. All right, and let's get excited about our sixth prophetic gathering. All right, I hope you all have registered. It's going to be held April 4th to the 5th, and that is coming up soon, less than 2 weeks away. And we are excited. We have a great line of facilitators, teachers, and gifts to the body that will be pouring out to us. Come ready and prepared to receive and come in the spirit of expectation. If you've already registered, go ahead and invite somebody else to register as well, and maybe sow a seed so someone else can register and be a part of this powerful, awesome, and edifying move of God. The prophetic gathering, which is going to be April the 4th through the 5th in Concord and Charlotte surrounding areas as well. So we're just excited about that. There is a virtual option as well. If you're inviting somebody and they can't actually come on site, we have a virtual option as well. So I'm just excited about it. We are 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks away from this great move of God, and looking forward to seeing you all there.
Absolutely.
All right, and now it's our time to give. If you would like to join us in giving, we have several ways that you can give to the Renewal Center. We have our website, text to give. We have PayPal, CashApp. We have Zoom. We have Zelle, Venmo. And if you would like to mail your money order a check, you may do so with the address that's listed at the bottom here on this announcement. So we invite you to join us and giving as we continue to expand, as we continue to grow. We invite you to give with us at the Renewal Center. We have several ways that you can be able to give.
All right. Thank you so much,
Hope.
Yes, appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for connecting with us here at the Renewal Center. Thank you for considering us, supporting us with donations. I know that many of you might be saying, "Hey, I'm blacking out from shopping here and there." Well, you know what? If you black out from shopping, here's a good place to donate. This is a good place for you to give. This is a good space because it is about advancing renewal practices. We're excited about what we have to offer and the value of our tea time, our grief recovery, all of our services. You're supporting us, helping us advance our mission here at the Renewal Center. So wanted to ask a few questions. What are your takeaways from today's renewal practices? All right, I think we got a couple of answers coming in today. Nichelle says, very thought-provoking renewal practice. Part 1 and 2 have both been dynamic in helping me continue to think resiliently, as well as grow in new ways of thinking. All right, you are welcome. Hope you want to go with this one here.
Sure. My takeaway, being intentional about mixing up my thinking, it makes me think of a Salah moment. Take a pause and look at my situation, thinking from a different perspective, and then move forward.
All right, let's keep going.
I'm going to practice mixed thinking to develop fresh perspectives and expand reframing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Alicia says, I will question my thoughts and words more. I believe it will help me consider what mindset I am taking in.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Good. Appreciate all those comments. And again, if you're out there right now, we talked through resilient thinking today. This is part 2. Next week will be part 3. We're going to recap parts 1 and 2 and start thinking through what are we going to be doing differently to continue to grow and expand who we are in the area of resilient thinking. And be transformed, transformational moment. Carmela says, takeaway, change the routine. All right.
Mhm.
All right. And again, Hope, anything that jumps out to you today that you thought through?
No, I have a lot of things I thought I can't share all of it right now, but
Okay.
a lot of things that I will actually take time to actually journal on. I need to take
Perfect.
some time to journal and
Perfect.
yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you for coming on to Tea Time again. And, one of the key things that we focus on here is it about pausing, resetting, and building resilience. And so I like to leave us today with a locate yourself as you close out your evening. We want you to take a time to pause, to reset, to build resilience, to strengthen your resilient thinking, change the context, right? Change routines, think differently, question your thoughts. All right. These are practices that are going to really help you evolve. And we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Let's locate ourselves and have a good evening. See you next time.
Good evening.